Tonight, the KVUE defenders take you inside the investigation of a Georgetown murder that shocked that community. Harvey Huber's body was never found, but his killer was.
Jimmy Schwerner recently admitted to killing Huber and accepted a plea deal. And now KVUE has obtained never-before-seen video surveillance and pictures. Here's investigative reporter Bryce Newberry with this KVUE Defenders exclusive.
It's not every day this Central Texas suburb is buzzing with police activity. Georgetown, Texas, one of the fastest growing cities in the country, just about 30 miles north of the Texas capital. Before Harvey Huber, it had been years since the police department investigated a murder here. And this wasn't just any murder.
We don't work a lot of homicides. And we don't work homicides where there's not a body, a murder weapon, or a confession.
It was the evening of February 26, 2020, when Detective Kirby Shoemake and police were called to the auto repair shop Huber owned for a decade.
A good-hearted person. I've never seen Harvey in a fight. I've never seen him angry. He was friends with everybody.
He was missing, reportedly last seen around 9:30 the night before, still at the shop.
We walked all the way from Georgetown to Bartlett, where he lives, looking for him.
Huber's brother-in-law Rick Jowers and family members searched for days. Texas EquiSearch helped too, and soon the Williamson County Sheriff's Office, the Texas Rangers, and the Attorney General's office joined the investigation. With no sign of Huber, the family's instinct grew sharper.
We knew pretty much what had happened and who had done it at that time.
For Jowers, Huber was like a brother. For many in Georgetown, Huber was a friend.
Everybody knew Harvey. He took care of the poor, he took care of the rich, he took care of whoever that needed help. In fact, he took care of Jimmy, the guy that killed him.
Jimmy Schwerner, a friend of Huber's, worked as a tow truck driver for a local company. Investigators say he had an ongoing sexual relationship with Huber's wife for nearly a year.
I had a suspicion that Jimmy had a role in it.
The family was suspicious too, as investigators zeroed in. What was he like?
He answered your questions. He was cooperative to a point. I knew he was hiding something from us.
After he was first interviewed by police, he spoke to his boss in a secretly recorded conversation obtained by the KVUE defenders. Schwerner spoke about starting a new life, leaving town, and creating a new identity.
And if they were going to arrest me for something, they would already did it. You got to have a body, you got to have a weapon. That is true.
That same day, investigators went to the tow company.
That's when we found blood on the bed of the tow truck. And that's when we knew.
The tow truck, now the first crime scene investigators knew of. A fury of investigative activity ensued, forensic data collected on an expedited timeline.
It went from just doing a basic investigation, trying to find Harvey, to it went to basically lightning speed.
Surveillance video showed Schwerner's tow truck leaving the shop the night Huber disappeared. In the back, a tarp and an object resembling the size of a body, the same tow truck that had blood in the back. Video combined with cell phone data led investigators to a second crime scene, this tunnel just off I-35, under the driveway of a private property entrance. That's where detectives found fragments of Huber's skull.
He went to the culvert where he had dismembered Harvey and cleaned up a little bit.
In the midst of him committing this crime, he was actually in contact with the police.
Yes, he was. Because the night of the 25th, the night Harvey was killed, we also had an officer-involved shooting. Tiptoe is our contract wrecker. When we needed our patrol unit towed to the office, Jimmy was the one that showed up on scene and towed our vehicle to the police department.
It took about a week to find yet another crime scene, right back where Huber was last seen. Cell phone data pointed investigators to the back of the lot, where it showed a lot of back and forth movement, near the RV where Chorner sometimes stayed. Detective Shoemake noticed tin on the ground near the RV entrance. His instinct said it was out of place.
I just picked the tin up, looked underneath it, and it was damp. It dried some, we could see a red tin, as in the blood.
At that time, the evidence only pointed to a charge of tampering with a human corpse. Still no weapon, still no body, still no confession. Evidence strong enough for the murder charge didn't come for months.
It was because of DNA, and also still trying to locate all the different crime scenes and processing the crime scene.
More than 2 years after the crime, last month, Chorner accepted a plea deal from Williamson County prosecutors, a 60-year prison sentence in exchange for his plea of guilty. In court, breaking down in tears, confessing.
He was my friend and everything, and I killed him. It was just over nothing. That's why I wrote the family that letter of what actually happened, so they're not always in limbo. And it's a sad situation, you know, and I apologize with all my heart.
It was the first time that I had actually heard Jimmy say he had killed Harvey. So it was like, we were right. And it was just a huge relief, knowing that we had all the evidence we collected.
In court, Chorner's lawyer, Mark Chavez, handed this letter to prosecutors. His client detailed what happened, writing, quote, "I hit him in the back of the head 3 times with an axe. He was dead."
Mr. Chorner contacted us and wanted to put an end to it all. He didn't feel that a long, drawn-out, emotional trial was the best for the family, the community, and even this court.
But even with the guilty plea, some of the family still doesn't have closure. Without Huber's body, they still haven't been able to have a funeral.
I need something of Harvey's.
In this letter, Chorner wrote he put Huber's body in trash bags, spreading those bags between different fast food restaurant dumpsters like this one in Round Rock and Georgetown. A gruesome crime, leaving some in the family still longing for a proper send-off.
The worst thing that could happen is not having Harvey's body. I was really hoping that would be part of the plea deal. It's been hard to just say, I know it's over, because is it really? Until I have something to show me that he's really gone, that I can put him to rest, lay him to rest.
In Georgetown, for the KVUE Defenders, I'm Bryce Newberry.
Wow, what a story. Well, Harvey Huber's auto shop is still open in Georgetown, now operating as H&H Auto Repair. Police say Huber's wife, Melissa, was not involved and was ruled out as a suspect early on.
KVUE Defenders asked her for an interview, but she declined. Harvey and Melissa Huber's daughter told us in a statement, quote, "The family would like to thank all involved in bringing Harvey's murderer to justice and is humbled by the sensitivity of those who investigated and prosecuted Harvey's murderer, knowing the situation was complex. We will continue to pick up the pieces of our lives honoring Dad as a good father, husband, grandfather, and friend," end quote. Her full statement is on the website, KVUE.com.